So the first of all we discuss about the Environmental Protection Act and the rule. So start with the introduction portion. Okay, the period of the 1970s, the experience and ascent globally in the industrialization leading to degradation of the environmental at a very high pace. Okay, so the need was felt for a combined effort towards the environment conservation from all over the world. Okay, so the result of this combined effort was the United Nations Conference on the Human Environment, which is the Stockholm Conference, which is held on the 1972 from 5th to 16 June in 1972. Okay. So in India, the Bhopal gas tragedy of 1984, it is called for the urgent legislation in the field of the environment, right? So, in the background of the parliament, which is passed the Environmental Protection Act, which is 1986, and the Environment Protection Rules, which is 1986. Okay, so now let's discuss the Environmental Protection Act, which is 1986. Okay, so the act which is came into the force in which is in November 1986 and extend to the whole of the India, right? Which is applicable in whole of the India. So the act was passed to provide for the protection and the improvement of the environment and for matters connected with that, right? So the act gives certain powers to the central government to take a measure for the purpose of protecting and improving the quality of the environment and to prevent the environmental pollution. Okay. So the act, which is an umbrella legislation designed to provide a framework for a central government coordination of the activities of various central and the state authorities, which is established under the provision law such as the Water Act and the Air Act, right? Okay, so the central government is the most powerful under EP Act. It means Environmental Protection Act. So the first one, which is the power of central government, which is in it take all necessary measures for government environmental protection, then coordinate the action of state government, then lay down the standard of environmental quality in the pollutant, then execute the nationwide programs, restriction of the area for the industries and etc., inspecting the industrial premises, okay, and the preparation of the manuals, code of the guidelines. Okay, the central government may appoint the officers and entrust them with such a powers and function as may deem it. It is a S4. Okay, the central government is empowered to issue the direction to any person or officers or any authority which is closer direction, right, with power to disconnect electricity and the water supply. Okay, then the central government which is empowered to make rules to regulate about the environmental pollution for the matter which is the to standard of the quality of air and the water and soil, then maximum allowable limit of the pollutant, then the procedure for the handling of the hazardous substance, then prohibition and restriction on the location of the industries, then procedure and safeguard for the prevention of the accident, right? So the central government which empowered the rule for the environmental pollution, right? Okay, now the prevention, control and abatement of the environmental pollution under the EP Act 1986. Okay, so the first one, which is no person or industry is allowed to pollute the environment, right? This is the first rule. Then procedure and process are laid down to control the pollution. Then monitoring authority can carry out the inspection at a regular basis. Then power to take a samples as per described procedure. Then samples are tested in the environmental laboratories. It is the most important rule, right? Okay. Stringent penalties and punishment for the breakdown the rule. The first one is whoever contracts this provision of the act maximum punishment up to 7 years, and the penalties up to the 1 lakh to the or the 5,000 per day for continued offence, right? Then for defaulter companies or body corporates, directors or partners are prosecuted. Then this act is also applicable to government department and HOD is prosecuted. Okay. Now the features of this act, which is deal with the criminal justification. Then central government is most powerful. Environmental lab are established or authorized by the central government, state government, CPCB, it means Central Pollution Control Board, and the State Pollution Control Board. Okay. The standard is laid down by the central government, state government, then CPCB or the SPCB. Then stringent penalties and punishment. Then person having a highest authority is prosecuted. Then hazardous waste are defined and special procedure is laid down. Then local standee is relaxed and any person can file a case. Okay. This act is also applicable to government department also, and this is an umbrella legislation. Okay. Now we discuss about the Environmental Act. Now we will discuss about the rules. Okay. So these rules laid down further detail for the implementation of this act. The first rule, which is it provides a standard for admission or the discharge and etc. Then procedure laid down for giving a direction under S5 by the central government. Then prohibition and restriction on the location based on the proximity to human settlement, ancient mountain monument, then biodiversity and etc. Then procedure to take a sample. Then when any person is filing a complaint, the format of notice and detail about whom to serve to the notice etc. Then format of the environmental lab report, okay, the format of the environmental audit, how it will be conducted, right? Okay, the schedule under the EP rule, which is the schedule 1, lay down the procedure and the standard for 87 different industries like rubber, copper, iron, etc. Then schedule 2, which is the noise standard. Then schedule 3, which is the standard for the motor vehicles, and schedule 4, which is the general standard for the effluent, inland surface, public sewer, land of the irrigation, marine, coastal area, and etc. Okay, so this is the schedule under the environmental protection rule. Okay, now this is important for exam, the Factories Act 1948. Okay, so the objective of this Factory Act, which is the Indian Factory Act 1948, are to regulate the working condition in the factory, to regulate the health, safety, welfare, and the annual leave, and the enact special provision in respect of the young person, women, children who work in the factories. Okay. The first one, which is the working hours. Okay. First we will discuss about the working hours. So according to the provision of working hours of adult, no adult worker shall be required or allowed to work in a factory for more than 48 hours in a week. Okay. So that should be a weekly holiday. Okay. Then the second one, which is the health. Okay. So for protecting the health of the worker, the act laid down that every factory shall be kept clean and all necessary precautions shall be taken in this regard. Okay, the factory should have a proper drainage system and adequate lighting, ventilation, temperature, and etc. Okay, and the basic needs, which is the adequate arrangement of the drinking water facility, then sufficient latrine and urinal should be provided at a convenient place. Then that should be easily accessible to workers and must be kept clean. Okay. So this is all about the health. Now the third one, which is the safety. So in order to provide a safety to the workers, the act provides that the machinery should be fans. No young person shall work at any dangerous machine in confined space. So there should be provision for the main halls of adequate size so that in case of the emergency, the workers can escape. Okay. The next one, which is welfare. Okay, so the welfare for the worker, the act provide that in every factory, adequate and the suitable facilities for the washing should be provided and the maintained for the use of the workers, right? So basically, the facilities for the storing and drying clothing, then facilities for the sitting, then first aid, appliances, shelters, restroom, lunch room should be that. Okay. The next one, which is the penalties. Okay. So the provision of the Factory Act, any rule made under the Act or any order given to writing under the Act is violated, it is treated is an offence, right? So the following penalties can be imposed. The first one, which is imposement for a term which may extend to 1 year. Okay. Then fine which may extend to 1 lakh rupees. Then both fine and imposement are there. Okay, the next one, which is if the workers misuse and appliances related to welfare, then safety and health of the workers, so in relation to discharge of these duties, and he can be imposed a penalty of the 500 rupees. Okay, so these are the Factories Act. Okay, now the next one, which is the applicability of the Factory Act. Okay, so the act is applicable to any factory whereon 10 or more workers are working, or where working or any day of the preceding 12 months, or and in any part of which is manufacturing process is being carried out on with the aid of the power, or is ordinary so carried on, or whereon the 20 or more workers are working, or where working or any day of the preceding 12 months, and in any part which is a manufacturing process is being carried on without the aid of power, or in ordinary so carried on, but this does not include a mine or a mobile unit belonging to the armed force to be of the union, and a railway running shed, or a hotel, restaurant, or a eating place. Okay, this is the applicability. This is a Factory Act, where the Factory Act which is applicable, right? Now, importance of the Factory Act, which is the Factory Act 1940 is beneficial legislation. Okay, so the aim and objective of this act is essential to safeguard the intersect of the worker, then stop their exploitation and take care of their safety, hygiene, and welfare at the place of the work. Okay, so it casts the various obligations, duties, and responsibility of the occupant of a factory, and also on the factory manager. Okay, so amendment of to the act and court decision have a further extended the nature and scope of the concept of occupier, especially hazard process in the factory. Okay, so this is the all about the Environmental Protection Act and Rule and the Factory Act 1948. Okay, I hope you all understood about the today's lecture. Thank you for the watching. Thank you.